here. It is Saturday, June 13th. I'm in Echo Park, this neighborhood in the middle of Los Angeles. And you can see tents behind me. There's families and stuff playing, but the tents behind me, those are people living in their homes. It's a whole overhead is either a police or news helicopter. And there's a big rally here, so I'm gonna show it to you. We're walking up, there's thousands of people. Oh, so this is like Echo Park is the neighborhood just sort of northeast of downtown Los Angeles. So you can see there's this whole lake thing here. It's like kind of a markety thing. And that is a police helicopter overhead. That's a police helicopter. And there is the protest right over there.
I just came from one. I grew up in one. I'm from a city where this would never happen. I'm from a city where they can gun down a black youth in the back while he runs away, and it's justified by any means. A city that within a month, everybody moves on, and it just adds a new fear to the mental back pocket. I'm used to roaming around all night long, sober or not, trying to stay awake. But mostly because my bones are freezing and I just can't sleep anywhere. I'm used to staying up, walking and sleeping at parking garages and running around like scattered mice. Why? Because it's illegal to actually sleep outside. I'm used to a place where if I get caught sleeping outside, I'll get a ticket, and eventually I'll go to jail for a week, get out, do it over and over and over again. I'm used to not having a tent and not even thinking about having a tent. There's no protest, there's no rally, there's not even social media group in my home state like we have here in this city. And my goal and the reason why I'm here is to make sure that it stays that way. My goal is to continue to be able to live for the people, to be able to connect with people that think like me. My goal is to make sure that LA never becomes the same.
You are the universe and you are fucking free!
That's why I'm here today. Thank you.
Politicians lying, you say black people dying. Politicians lying,
Black people dying!
hey yo, politicians lying.
Black people dying!
I want to introduce my spiritual mother, Michael Jackson's spiritual mother, the one who gave him the title, This Is It. And I want her to tell you what he was talking about when he said this was it. It was written in the book of life. Reverend Juliet Gatlin, y'all.
Refer to yourselves as minorities. You are not lesser than anybody. That's what minority means. Never ever, as long as you breathe, be a minority again. Do we have any humble people in here? Yeah. Don't be scared if you humble say it. You crazy. You never ever be be humble. That means to be low to the ground. It means to cede, C-E-D-E, give your power over to somebody else. It means to be powerless. It means not to be strong, children. You ain't out here because you are weak. That's what humble means. If you do something that you deserve and they give you a prize for it, then you're supposed to say, I am so proud to get this. Because most of the time, you always hear, especially black people, they always proud to be humble. Okay, y'all move. Y'all go on. Black people are ever proud to be humble. Check the word in the dictionary. It's important how you language yourselves. You don't allow other people to place their words and titles on you. Know yourself better than you know anybody else, because this divine aliveness, which is breathing itself being you, man nor woman gave it to you, God gave it to you. And we got too many humans taking it away. You got individuals placing their knees on your neck. You got individuals hanging you from light posts. You got individuals burning you alive, boiling you. And there are individuals getting naked on Instagram so that they can make their brand. When our people, our ancestors were branded, it wasn't something sweet and soft. It was burning, it was hellfire. And I want you to understand the importance of being an ascendant. This is 2020. You are moving up. This is the evolution revolution, children. You are not descending, you are rising. That means an ascendant. And black folks from the first world when life rolled it up, Africa, the continent, not the country, as George Bush Jr. said, it's a continent, it's a fucking continent, not a country. It's not many countries, children. It's the first world. And where life began, that's where you out here with all these multiplicitous colors, you came from Africa first, the first world. So you are first world ascendants, going up, rising, expanding. You got to be fierce and fearless. You were born with the authority to be fearless. When God Most High breathed His divine aliveness in you in your mother's womb, it wasn't timidity or fear. It was power. There's too many out here who want to take your lives, want to take your breath. And I know you like to be forgiven. And I'm saying it because black folk, y'all out here, y'all the most forgiving people on the planet. Somebody can come kill your brother while he's playing videos and eating ice cream. And then the killer is given 10 years, which you might as well say 10 minutes. And the brother runs out and hugs that husband. It's like, I don't think so, but he forgave him. Then the judge came down off her bench and gave that woman a Bible. You have to understand, too, the Bible tells you to be good slaves, obey your masters. You need to understand how to language your lives, because this is just not a momentary thing, honey. It's not a momentary fling. You got to know when you leave here, it's still ongoing. As long as you breathe, Black Lives Matter. As long as you breathe, Black Lives Matter.
a quote-unquote unhoused homeless resident in Echo Park since November. I've never been arrested until I started to stand up for my right. Along my life, I've been doing what's right. Going to college, playing basketball, all of this, that was righteous. Until I found out their system was wrong. Then I stood up for my rights. Then they treated me like I was doing wrong. On this ground right here, my face was in the mud. About 9, 10, 15 police officers was around me. They had a knee in my back and my spine. Just like George Floyd had a knee in his neck, I had a knee in my spine. They bit my fingers. They touched me inappropriately, sexually inappropriately. When I got to the Rampart station, Officer Rosario-Gborie, the one who also framed my friend Amit over here, he had a picture of him smoking herbs, which is the healing of the nation. So, while I was in the police station, Rosario-Gborie comes behind me and says, it's a shame how Jed from Street Watch LA uses you and that other big mouth. You guys are not that powerful. Goes in the room and says, I got additional charges for him. The first charge was resisting arrest. As soon as Rosario-Gborie goes in there, it's battery on a police officer. Next thing you know, I'm at Los Angeles County Jail, looking at a $20,000 bill just for standing up for my right to exist. If it wasn't for Black Lives Matter, Melina Abdullah, and Jed Perry from Street Watch LA, black and white getting together to organize to let me get 1,000 bills in one day, I would still be locked up in prison. There is still color in this revolution. There is still color in this revolution. And let me tell you why. President Kennedy was a white man that's talking about the same thing I'm talking about. And he was assassinated in a racist state like Texas. Robert Kennedy Jr. calls Donald Trump a bully. Robert Kennedy Jr., I know what they did to your father. I know what they did to your whole bloodline. Because the Rothschilds and Rockefellers are the slave owners. The police are the puppets. The army is the puppets. We need to let the army know they're not protecting and serving. They protect and serving Satan. They are not protecting and serving the people. Were framed at during the uprising for homeless in Echo Park. The same station. Mary Garcetti's worked there. Mary Garcetti's father in 1992 was the city attorney during Rodney King. Mary Garcetti's brother was hung in the Mexican Revolution. So this goes back to Italy. This goes back to Europe. This goes back to Eastern Europe when the first slaves was white. So they had to organize. Strong the white army so they could go to Africa and steal all the resources. And now tell us that Madagascar got the cure for corona. They killed 170 people. The World Health Organization is funded by the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. So of course the World Health Organization is going to deny the cure until Dr. Sabi in 2019. My friend Todd here, come in, man. Come in. This is a white man who reminds me of President Kennedy right here. We got President Kennedy homeless in Echo Park right now. My friend Todd, he's a homeless white man in a wheelchair. Why is he homeless if there is a race war? Please tell me, Todd Miller.
I know it's pretty hot mic, man. Barely. So I'm just going to speak out for people. I'm not going to specify and generalize which one of us are wrong or right. I'm just going to tell you that it's really hard to have multiple sclerosis for like 4 years. Have to go to the bar and shake with the doctors and all that. It's not just the doctors, it's the politicians. It's the way that people think. Work with others, individuals. Man, you can be 80 years old. They put you in hospitals, charge $40,000 for this government guy. And I decided it was a better idea for me to come out and just watch everyone listen to life and survive and see the
there, so they wouldn't believe we were friends. Me and Tom were like best friends. And he can't walk, but I'm gonna tell you what other miracle he did. He did steal my girlfriend. Peace.
Give it up for the grind, y'all. Give it up for that real. Give it up for Dr. June. Peace.
Hey guys, one love, my human family. I just want to leave y'all with one thing as the bond ends, and that this is a, you see that? That's a low vibration. This is a war against good and evil. It's not against white or black and black, whatever it is. Remember that we're one consciousness vibrating on different frequencies of itself. We all breathe in the same air. We think, we eat, we shit. We do all these things. It doesn't make us separate or different. It's not true. Remember, it's evil versus good. Where are your thoughts? Low vibrational thought frequencies or high vibrational thought frequencies? It's about consciousness at the end of the day. You think that when you're transitioning, you're going to talk about I stood up for black people? You're going to talk about were your thoughts pure and righteous? What was your life like? What you do to others, you do to yourself. Remember, we're not separate. Separation is an illusion. Only love. Only love.
It's only love, y'all. Give it up. All right, only love, only love. Only love. All right, let's give it up again for Brother Devon Brown and special guest Dr. Brandy and everybody else. I want us to just take a brief check-in real quick, and I want us to bring ourselves back to our heartbeat. Everybody just tap your chest for me. Take a second. I want to see it, just how silent we can be. Just how silent we can be for a minute. Revel in silence. I want you to feel your own heartbeat. How important and life-giving it is. How important your life is. Your breath, the force that drives you, the individuality. Now, as you keep your hand there, I want you to just look around. It's okay, you can move. I promise. Look around. Take a second and catch eyes with a couple people. This isn't just a big crowd. It's a group of individuals whose heart beats on the same frequency as the sister just said. I don't want us to forget that. All right. As we go on, I know the coronavirus is out here. I want us to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. If you can put on a mask, I suggest it. I also know that there's a pandemic of racism, right? And so that means that because this pandemic, someone asked me today, why are you going to this march? It might be unsafe. I said, my everyday life is unsafe. I'm no more unsafe today than I was before this pandemic started. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I do take it seriously, so I want you to, if you can, to just make sure you're doing what you can to mitigate your risk. Now we're going to keep going. I want to bring up a brother here who has a podcast that's on fire, y'all, all across Los Angeles. This brother is brilliant. I got a chance to listen to him one time, and I was blown away, and I can't wait for you to hear him. Brother Theodore Henderson, come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have to be honest, I can't talk with beautiful music and beautiful protest songs. As you look back through the civil rights era, that's what propelled movement and change. First of all, I want to get some business out the way. I want somebody to repeat after me and says, all Black lives matter. Black women's lives matter. Black women's lives matter. Black trans lives matter. Black trans lives matter. Black men's lives matter. Black men's lives matter. Black unhoused lives matter. Black unhoused lives matter. All Black lives matter. All Black lives matter. I cannot be free unless every one of us is free. And we cannot get forward if we are continually tearing each other down. I say this to my white brothers and sisters, and I say this to my Black brothers and sisters. We need to squash that nonsensical idea of who we are and how should we express ourselves in this perilous time. My name, as you know, is Theo Henderson, and I am an under-house man, and I've been there for 7 years. What people first think of me is that I am unhoused and I am a criminal. They don't see that I'm unhoused and an educated man. They don't care. That's one thing we have in common. I don't give a damn if you have a house in Beverly Hills. If the police pulls you over, you are a criminal. If you're an unhoused person that's sitting in the park, you're a criminal. If you are sitting down and bedding down on the concrete, if you happen to be in an area that have NIMBYs, or like which for is acronym for not in my backyard, you are going to jail or you're going to be criminalized. I've gone through all of it. I've gone through unhoused white vigilantism. I've gone through terrorism from police officers that look like me and some that don't look like me. And I do mean guns drawn, billy clubs out, in the rain to throw me out of the park because they felt I was dangerous. I was a crazy drug dealing Black man. But my story doesn't begin in the park like many other unhoused friends and neighbors. We didn't grow up one day and said we're going to live out on the street. We had a life, we had a family, and so did I. I was an educator, I was a teacher. I was a middle school, high school, and elementary school teacher. And it happened to me. I've had the misfortune of falling ill. I am a diabetic, and I am sorry to say because of how capitalism and the diet that I had, because of the low financial vista that I had in my at the moment, I ate unhealthily, trying to stay on that rat race. And you know for a fact that people don't pay teachers well. They give us all the hell we read, but police officers get over $100,000 and we get damn near the crumbs. That's not
Fucking right.
And I also want to point out, I was a damn good teacher because I put money out of my own pocket to support distressed area students that couldn't afford the supplies that was needed for them to be skilled in the system. That's another outlet. And most Black teachers, and most teachers in general, do that. So my story begins one day teaching, and I wasn't feeling that well. 3 days later, I woke up not knowing where I was. I had a diabetic coma, and I was close to having a stroke. The issue became, and I had it in school. And as you probably know, that most parents love their kids. It distresses when you see a Black person go and have a convulsion or a fall and go to the bathroom on themselves because of a medical issue. That's speaking for children. And you can probably imagine when I went back to school, the conversations that was had for me to retire or to be let go or take a sick leave. And also the problem was that I had a choice to stay in the place that I lived with no job or pay for my medical bills, which was ridiculously expensive. Medicare, before Obamacare happened, it was ridiculous to try to take care of yourself in an apartment with no family and nobody to be able to take you to physical therapy, going through different things to learn how to speak well again or to talk and be able to take the medication that you need and the diet again. So good friends allowed me to sleep on their couch, allowed me to sleep on the floor. Some allowed me to stay until, again, those same people that you live with in your neighborhoods see me coming and going, or hopping at the time, see me as a threat. They contact the landlord. This dangerous guy is lurking around and loitering around. And as you probably would guess, eviction papers were money and lived in hotels. And I'm telling you this story to understand several issues. It doesn't matter the economic strata that you're from, the educational degrees that you have. Anybody can become a house. Life happens to all of us. And if you do not believe so, the next 120,000 that live in apartments due to COVID-19 that will be joining us in the ranks, you will see very soon. So let us not get the game twisted. This is the system, not an individual choice, not someone that wanted to stay out here because of ridiculousness. They don't want help or they don't want a job, and all of the ridiculousness that people use to justify not caring and not having empathy. One other thing, 4 years ago, I almost lost my life. I got stabbed, I was very close, I was in the hospital ICU. I now have a very long, very visible surgical scar on my. I was stabbed in 8 places. I was in ICU for over like 3 weeks. I was on 2 different IVs. I was on a respirator. And one of the things that I want you to understand about being unhoused and you don't have insurance, your care is very, very haphazard. They told me that I was to go and take care of myself out there in the street to take care of the wound. Now, I understand, I want you to be very clear. Trying to do self-care out there on the street where you can get infection would have been ridiculous. I would not have survived. But one of the things I want to talk about is substance usage. I got almost addicted to the painkillers because the pain is excruciating. And many times when you see people that have substance usage issues or mental health crises, it's a confluence of things. Sleep apnea, sleep deprivation, and anybody can become addicted to substance usage due to trying to make the pain go away. That changed my idea on what I see people out here using because of the harsh realities of it. I damn sure am going to tell you, you get stabbed and be caught in 8 different times, you have to do a surgery, you'll be begging for the morphine or the morphine was another medicine that I had, and to mitigate that pain. I want us to look at the humanity of people. When we see people, let's not judge them. Let's not diminish them. They're still human beings. There was somebody's son or daughter. That was somebody. Substance usage is not a physical choice. It is a health issue. And when you criminalize these people like me, I'm in that boat too, as well, when you diminish their humanity. When you defund the police and put the monies into ways to help our humanity, then we liberate all of us. All of us. The last thing I want to leave all of you with today is this. Shirley Chisholm, she used to say, if you don't have a seat at the table, then bring your own damn folding chair. I thank you all for listening.
Come on, y'all, let's give it up for Brother Theodore Henderson. I didn't know how similar that brother's story was to mine. Wow, we gotta talk. Oh boy, that's similar. Listen, I wanna say, we're gonna pivot here in a minute, right? We got a couple more speeches and performance, but we're gonna pivot and we're gonna do some marching. We're gonna put our feet to action, right? So I just wanna get you a little bit prepared, okay? But I was sitting there thinking as I was there how we got a man who lost his life for possibly a $20 bill that was fake. And we have a man sitting in the White House who defrauded an entire charity out of $20 million. And his birthday's tomorrow. And I'm gonna sing happy motherfucking birthday to him tomorrow. Listen, I want everybody out here to know that our relationship with police has long needed to change. Our relationship with crime and punishment and how we look at it has long needed to change. Defunding the police, investing in communities, as Mr. Theodore Henderson just said, so important. Okay, I want y'all to give a little bit more than that tepid applause. Come on, y'all. Defunding the police is so important. We can't get tired right now. All right? Okay, I got an extra Nutrigrain bar just for this. Alright. Okay, now I want to bring up Sheila from Black Lives Matter. Come on up here, Sheila.
Hey, man.
first, I want to say thank you for being out here. Y'all are motherfucking beautiful and powerful, and thanks for being out here. So real quick, raise your hand if you're attending an action or a rally for the first time ever. Don't be shy, raise your hand. Raise your hand if this is your first time being at something against the police. All right, welcome, welcome. And put your fist up in the air if this is not your first time being out here, and this is not your first time being on the streets and doing something. Thank you. Thank you. So many of you were propelled into action because of the murder of George Floyd. Say his name.
George Floyd.
Say his name.
George Floyd.
Say his name.
George Floyd.
Let's give all, sorry. So let's remember George Floyd was a proverbial straw that broke the camel's back, right? George Floyd was not the first man to be killed by the police. George Floyd was not the first black man to be killed by the police. George Floyd was this proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. Because let's remember, y'all, that there were 600 people, over 600 people, who've been killed by the police in LA County alone. Let's remember that this started 400 years ago when they took my ancestors and the ancestors of many of us out here, when they took our ancestors from Africa. That started long before this. George Floyd was the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back and that brought you out here. And I appreciate you being out here. Sorry, I wrote down some notes because it's been a long day. So, also remember that we have Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and Tony McDade. These are murders that just made national news just since the stay-at-home orders were issued because of COVID-19. That is not that much time. And let's remember that in between those huge national cases that make the news, there are many cases that do not make the news. Do you guys know that there was a brother who was murdered in North Hollywood just a few days ago?
No.
And that's my point, right? Is that there are so many of these cases and they never make the news. Remember that when we say Black Lives Matter, we mean all Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was created by 3 women, many of them being queer, and when we say Black Lives Matter, we inherently mean all Black Lives Matter. We mean our trans brothers and sisters, we mean our non-gender conforming black siblings, we mean our houseless black folks, we mean all black folks. So we don't have to necessarily say all Black Lives Matter, because we know that when we say Black Lives Matter, we mean all Black Lives Matter. But let's remember that so frequently we forget our trans brothers and sisters. We forget our non-gender conforming siblings. And we cannot leave them out of the struggle. So let's say Tony McDade, say his name.
Tony McDade.
Nina Pop, say her name.
Nina Pop.
Monica Diamond, say her name.
Monica Diamond.
Rhea Milton, say her name.
Rhea Milton.
Dominic Fells, say her name.
Dominic Fells.
And though she is absolutely still alive, we need to say the name of Ayanna Dior. Say her name.
Ayanna Dior.
These are just some of them. And remember, when we say Black Lives Matter, we absolutely mean their lives too. So many of these stories don't make the news. We are specifically uplifting Black houseless siblings right here and right now. And we have to remember to also say the name of Brendan Glenn. Say his name.
Brendan Glenn.
Brother Africa, say his name.
Brother Africa.
Daryl Fields, say his name.
Daryl Fields.
Valerie Wortlow, say her name.
Valerie Wortlow.
Miranda, say her name.
Miranda.
Rodney Evers, say his name.
Rodney Evers.
Janice Yaya Ross, say her name.
Janice Yaya Ross.
David Waller, say his name.
David Waller.
We need to uplift their names and fight for them. Their names need to roll off your tongues and roll off your lips in the same way that George Floyd's name. They need to propel you into action and bring you onto the streets just like George Floyd. Just like Breonna Taylor. If you're with me, say fuck the police.
Fuck the police.
If you're with me, say defund the police.
Defund the police.
If you're with me, say prosecute killer cops.
Prosecute killer cops.
Let's remember that these protests and these demonstrations are important, but we have to use all the tools that we have available to us, including, now stay with me, electoral politics. We have to remember that one of the most important races coming up right now is the LA County DA race. If you know what I'm talking about, say Jackie Lacey must go.
Jackie Lacey must go.
If you're with with me, say Jackie Lacey will go.
Jackie Lacey will go.
So Jackie Lacey is a problematic-ass DA in LA County, and she's up for re-election. She's running against somebody this year, and his name is George Gascon. BLM never supports candidates, and we will not tell you who to vote for, but we sure as hell will tell you who not to vote for. And we're telling you, please do not vote for Jackie Lacey. In addition to allowing over 600 people to be murdered in LA County and only prosecuting one officer, and the only reason why she finally prosecuted one officer is because BLM LA and our allies have been out in front of her office for over 2 years. That is the only reason why she's finally prosecuting somebody. And remember, the only reason why she's prosecuting it is because people power, right? So who are you not going to vote for in November?
Jackie Lacey.
Who are you going to tell every damn body not to vote for in November?
Jackie Lacey.
So our goal as Black Lives Matter is to end state-sanctioned violence in all of its forms, physical, social, political, and economic. And let's be honest, the fact that we have houseless folks is a massive failure of the city, of our city, every single leader in society. The fact that they continue to fund the LAPD and allow them to consume 54% of the city's budget is disturbing as fuck. When we remember the amount of problems in the city, county, and country that go unaddressed is enough to elicit moral outrage and righteous indignation. Then when we remember that 600 folks have been murdered by the police and they don't do anything about it and they're never prosecuted, y'all should be outraged. Are you outraged? It is a call, a duty, an obligation to stand up, speak up, and act up. To enact meaningful change, and I do not mean reform. I mean abolition.
Yes. Yes.
Because let's remember,
Fuck yeah.
the system is not broken. Stay with me, the system is not broken. It is working as it was intended, but it was not intended to work for all of us. Defund the police is a call to divest from the police department and invest in us. The people, the community, is a call to invest in housing, healthcare, education, mental health, childcare, after-school programs, feeding programs. It is a call to duty and a moral obligation to serve the people, not property, not white supremacy. We know that because we live in a racist society permeated with anti-blackness, that we must center us, Black people, in our struggle. That is why we say Black Lives Matter. If you're with me, let me hear you say Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Fully resourced communities are healthy communities. And healthy communities do not need the police. Because the police do not keep us safe. We keep us safe. This is why we say defund the police. This is not a moment. Just like it was not a moment when Black Lives Matter got our start when Trayvon Martin was murdered in 2012 and we were out on the streets in 2013. Are you with me? Yeah. If you're with me, Trayvon Martin, say his name. Trayvon Martin. We are still here. We are still doing the work. We are still showing up and we are still acting up when necessary. Are you with me? Yeah. We are still doing the work and we must continue to do the work. Remember, protest is just a part of the work. We need you to show up every day. We need you to plug into the work. There are plenty of organizations on the ground, including Black Lives Matter LA, White People for Black Lives, LA Can, Ground Game LA, Stop LAPD, Spine Coalition, and DSA LA. Meet up with one of the leaders, one of the people who are here on the ground from one of those organizations. Get plugged in. Be unapologetic in your positioning that Black Lives Matter. Be unapologetic when you say defund the police. Be unapologetic when you say prosecute killer cops. Be unapologetic when we say our demands. Have those tough conversations. Dare to imagine a better world. To reimagine public safety. Then show up with your brilliance and your skills. Get in where you fit in. So we can defund the police. So we can abolish the police. This is our moment to really shift things. We are seeing a shift and a change around the country, and we must seize on it. Because when we fight, we win! When we fight, we win! We have the power to make lasting and meaningful change if you promise to show up. Are you going to promise to continue to show up? Yes! If you're with me, say all power to the people. All power to the people. We have to plug in and do the work. Because when Black people get free, everyone everybody gets free. Our struggles are linked. Our liberation is linked. And with that, I say welcome to the uprising. Welcome to the revolution.
Come on, y'all. Let's get God bigger than that. They say the revolution will be televised, but you can be there live. I want everybody to stand up. Come on. Come on, it's time to get off those seats. Just a little bit. That's it. That's it. This next performance is going to help propel us into our next march. This next performance is going to help us get ready for what we got to do next, this action with our feet. So I want to bring up Brother Iman. Come on up, Brother Iman. Let's hear what you got for us. And I want us to start getting ourselves live and ready.
Testing, hello. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. All right, keep that going. God bless George Floyd. Dead or alive, dead or alive. Dead or alive, dead or alive. Dead or alive, veteranize, hell on the rise. Lady a guy, everyone quiet, pop on down. Roger, let's take a ride. 15 coppers, 60 bopping like 50 choppers. City wanners, they feel this, CT, they knees is buckling. Pick these gloves up, take off my badge and pick these gloves up. Angels love us, daddy told them protect his loved ones. 15 coppers, 60 bopping like 50 choppers. City love us, they told us pick up his gloves up. Angels love us, daddy told them protect his love squad. Angels love us, daddy told them protect his love squad. Came with the book, came with the angel, he came with the truth. Came with the truth, praying to play, but play with the rules. Aim for the inner you, don't aim for the interviews. Pray for the kid in you, just change the beginnings too. Tame on the rage in you, the rangers, they gon' get it soon. Label as animals, I'll show them what a dragon do. Came with the camera, they play July on channel news. Play with the family news, I'll be damned if they take nappy with attitudes. Loners and damaged women, homies in backwoods, roaming crack addicts too. Welcome to Nappywood, nigga, we just a camp of cool niggas. We just like capping, nigga, we sat on tractors with activists with us. Dead or alive, dead or alive. Dead or alive, dead or alive. Better with lies, better with lies. Everyone lies, everyone quiet, pop on down. Let's take a ride. Anti-protest, they can't approach us, they lacking focus. Where they want us, they barely honest, a pack of cronies. Chant the lotus, de-chair the office, declare his promise. Lake of fire for all them who don't know love or who God is. New school Nazis, Judas copies, nigga, who you stopping? Ooh, you copping, ooh, you got gun whoop, ooh, you gun miss. Ooh, what happened? Ooh, who man me, your pool got man in it. Zulu can't make do you damage, our God can handle it. Ain't it the truth? God is good, he's always good. Can't get a room, I got things I wanna do. Trap in the booth, dab in the moons, get chance in the crew. Sabbath is true, bad equals news, let anarchy rule. Yeah, I'm confused, man kills man, man gets man too. Anger the youth, who made these rule the baby boomers. They don't goof, black and brown united through this. Hallelujah, soon as doom, soon as Yeshua. Dead or alive, dead or alive, yeah. Dead or alive, dead or alive. Better with lies, better with eyes, hell on the rise, lady a guy, everyone quiet, papa on down, Roger, let's take a ride. Yeah, God bless you all. Thank you for coming out to the protest. Real quick before I introduce General Dogon, who's been fighting the police since before I was born, I just want to say something that, a thought that came to my mind while everyone was talking. We must defund the police. $600 billion more than any other country, we must defund the military. We must defund Hollywood in this narrative of violence and hate, where the police are the hero and they're bad, evil guys.
Yes.
I live on the streets. Where are these bad guys? I only see people. I only see love. We have to defund the hate narrative. God bless you all.
Yo, give it up for Erni, y'all. Y'all can do better than that. Give them a little bit more, y'all. Give them more, give them more. So check it. You are now in the midst of the Black radical tradition. This is how we've always struggled. Words, music, songs, vibrations. A lot of people knew Frederick Douglass as an orator, but they didn't know that before he was an orator, he was a preacher while he was a slave. And he said this. He said, for 20 years as a slave, I prayed for freedom. But it was when I started praying with my feet that freedom came. I'm gonna say that shit again because I think that flew over you. Frederick Douglass, abolitionist, preacher, said, for 20 years as a slave, I prayed for freedom on my knees, but freedom didn't come until I got on my feet, right? And so the next part of this program is gonna be getting on our feet, and to warm us up, we're first gonna bring one of the hardest Latino cats who've been in these trenches, Leonardo Del Viches from Unión de Vecinos. Give it up for Leonardo.
Okay, hello everybody. I just came here to tell you one thing. We don't need the fucking police. I want to hear everyone say, we don't need the fucking police. We don't need the fucking police. Louder. We don't need the fucking police. You know why? Because the police always comes after the crimes were committed. And they always come and beat the crap out of us. When they come to our neighborhoods, they hide behind the bullets. They hide behind the uniforms, and then they come and blame us for the crime. The police is not even in the neighborhoods. I work in the housing projects in Pico Gardens and Aliso Village for a long time. That's why I'm the oldest organizer here. And what happened is, the police was an occupying force in our community. They would take over our community and tell us that they were the solution to the crime. But the women and mothers who lived in the projects, they learned very fast that the police was there just to beat up their children, to put them in jail, and to provoke the war. The police only provokes the war. So in our community, we decided to eradicate the police. Just like the Community Safety Partnership is infiltrating Jordan Downs and Nickerson Gardens, in Pico Gardens, we run the police out. In Pico Gardens, where there is tension and when there is violence, the women and residents of the projects come and step out and calm people down. We don't need the police. In the community, when there is tension between different gangs and different communities, the community steps in, organize parties on the streets, organize swap meets, and organize events that bring everyone together, and that's why we don't need the police. When people are overdosing, when they have problems, we call the nurses and we have called the people that can't help. We don't call the police. A few years in Maywood, we were working in the city of Maywood, and the police was taking 70% of the budget of the city. They were deporting immigrants. They were detaining street vendors. They were putting people in jail. They were beating people up, and they were doing nothing to stop the crime. And you know what we did? We fired the police. We can fire the police. We can survive defunding them, but we need to fire them. We need to restart thinking of our safety. We build safety in our communities with our presence on the streets, organizing each other and watching out for each other. We don't need the fucking police! The police in the city of Maywood was taking 70% of the budget of the people. 70% of the budget. And that budget was coming from Homeland Security. It was money to infiltrate, to create spies amongst each other, to bind the people, and to create more violence in our communities. We don't need Homeland Security money in our communities. More recently, in both heights, now as we have tenants being evicted, 200,000 tenants will be evicted because Mayor Garcetti cannot cancel rent. 200,000 tenants will not be evicted because they're using the police to push us out of here. And we're organizing to defend ourselves. We don't need the police. So when people say, what are we going to do without the police? We say, we organize and we'll take care of each other. So once again, we don't need the fucking police. And we're going to organize and defend ourselves. Thank you very much. Now here we have the real organizer, the real leader, Bowman.
All power to the people! All power to the people! And fuck the police! Fuck the police! That's right. And when I say fuck the police, that's an educated fuck the police. Because when you know the origin of something, you know what it was created for, when it was created, why it was created, and what it's been doing since it was created, right? And so we know the history of it. So we already know what they do to us. That's good, right? So because it ain't by coincidence that LA leads the nation year after year in shooting unarmed people of color. That ain't no damn coincidence.
It ain't by coincidence that LA leads the nation in incarceration and criminalization. That ain't no damn coincidence. And it ain't no damn coincidence that LA is the most racist city west of the Mississippi. And it ain't no damn incident, right, that LA leads the nation in homeless. And the majority of those homeless faces you see on Skid Row is black. That ain't no damn coincidence, right? I don't call those coincidences. I don't even believe in coincidence, right? That ain't no damn coincidence. And so that's why we're here today. That's the reason why I'm here today. You should be pissed off. It's the reason why you're here today. You should be mad as hell, right? We should still be in the streets. We finna get in the streets right now. But the reason why we need to get in the streets and stay in the streets is because when it's all over with, we ain't gonna have nothing coming. They ain't gonna wanna see us for the next 50 years. They ain't even gonna wanna talk to us. So we better get everything we got coming right now. So the time now is for us to take it in the streets. When you look around the other parts of the nation, you see people's taking in the streets. And they rechanging, redesigning our communities. That's what we gotta do. We gotta take it to the streets and redesign our community where there's housing for everybody or housing for nobody. We can't leave our homeless people outside the street. We gotta move the police, or they're gonna say, fuck it. We don't need them. Sit their ass in the fucking shit and let them come down some damn way, right? All they do is take all the goddamn money around here. And so, when we take it to the streets, we need to snatch down some Confederate statues and all that shit too. Right? We need to totally change our communities to where they reflect us. You see these campus ass businesses that's blood sucking us. Why we gotta pay $4.99 plus tax for some shit you can buy in the 99-cent store, right? So we need to remove them out of our community. So now, we ready to go. Can we get some motion moving?
So check it out, y'all. Give it up for General Dogon. So as we said earlier, there's gonna be 10 organizers. To my right, your left, in the middle of the street. We are behind the streets behind them. They are going to be at the light. We're gonna take the streets around the park. What I want you to do before you head to the streets is slow down. We don't all have to run over there because we're gonna walk today. But I also want you to think about something. A thread, a through line that all the speakers talked about. The Los Angeles Police Department accounts for 54% of the general fund budget. 54%. Right now,
Nice speech,
there's
brother.
going to be a 10% cut across all departments except the LAPD. And when I say across all departments, I mean the Department of Aging, right? That's the department that's making sure we get Meals on Wheels for our elderly folks. I'm talking about the housing department. How in the hell are you cutting the budget of the housing department when we're in the midst of a housing crisis?
I woke up this morning with my mind, more keyboard please. Stay on freedom. I woke up this morning with my stay on freedom. Y'all can clap and walk up this morning with my mind. Stay on freedom. Hallelujah. 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 One more time, I woke up this morning with my mind. Stay on justice. I woke up this morning with my mind. Stay on justice. I woke up this morning with my mind. Stay on justice. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I said I'm walking and marching with my mind. Staying on justice. I said I'm walking and marching. I got staying on justice. Hallelujah.
Sorry, I needed a snack break. You can hear the music behind me, and then in front of me, they're gathering for the march.
Let's march it out. Freedom, freedom. What does freedom mean to you? What does it mean to you? I know to me it means I got justice in my heart. I know there's justice going on, but I got justice. Give it up for the sound, folks. Give it up for the folks who have made it possible for us to be heard today. Give them a round of applause. Give it up for a round of applause.
So this was organized by Black Lives Matter Los Angeles and the DSA LA, Democratic Socialists of America, an organization I'm a part of. So if you're just tuning in, one of the things the woman from Black Lives Matter was saying, she was like protesting, and it's a thing I talk about, you know, and social media is important. But she's like, we have to, you know, electoral politics is of course a part of it too. So one of the things that she was talking about was like, so I talk about a lot. So the district attorney of the county of Los Angeles is Jackie Lacey. There's been 600 people shot by LAPD while she's been district attorney, and she won't prosecute anybody. She's prosecuted one cop. And they've been protesting every Wednesday outside of her office, Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, for the last 2 years. So that Wednesday when the protest started, which was about a day or two after George Floyd was murdered, there was protests in Minneapolis, and then the protests in Los Angeles got big because every Wednesday they protest there, and of course the cops overreacted. So there's no cops in around. I can't see any LAPD around here, and shocker, it's a peaceful protest. So it's like, you know, that's one of the things that's critical is voting these people out. Sheriffs, district attorneys that won't prosecute. These are all key positions to get out of power. In addition to defunding, and don't settle for reform. They're going to try to give you reform, and we're going to trim back the police budget and name a street after somebody, and then they're going to keep the bullshit going on. So it really needs to be. So the march is starting. I'm going to join it, and hopefully you can join me too. Share this out, hit the like button, do all those things that help support the show, everybody. Because, like this woman said, protesting is good, but like voting these district attorneys that won't prosecute out, voting if you have a sheriffs are elected positions, mayors, and don't be fooled by just because it's a Democratic mayor. Eric Garcetti's a Democrat. His dad was a district attorney during Rodney King. His dad allowed those cops to get acquitted. So if you remember, if those of you who are younger, Rodney King was killed, or not even killed, sorry, beaten in 1992. And then a year later, roughly a year later, he was, the cops were all acquitted. And that's when the riot started. So I'm gonna join the march and take you with. Boom. So just so you can see this sign, it says, in 2019, 963 Angelenos died outside. So, you know how I talk about on the show, how the same way we spend all this money on our foreign policy, we spend all this money on military, it's the same thing on a local level. All these cities, LA is no different. We spend 54% of the city of Los Angeles budget is for the police. And we don't take care of homeless. So look at the 963 people that died last year. And I'm sure it's only worse now.
Water? Free water?
Oh, thanks, brother.
Ice and cold water? Thank you. Thank you. Trying to like stay. Remember that?
Let over 60 cops out with no accountability in San Francisco during 2011 to 2016.
Jesus. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Black lives are under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Black lives are under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Thank you guys. We appreciate you. So look, it's just some of the organizers directing traffic. We don't need cops. They're just volunteers, just politely directing traffic. Look at that. We don't need cops in riot gear. People did it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure that somebody I think murdered. Exactly, yeah. I know the fact that
I didn't see they got back. Yo, Bianca.
said, we're at another intersection, and just volunteers are looking taking care of it. We don't need cops here, just some volunteers. It's all nice, it's all good. That guy doesn't need riot gear. See, it's all nice. Just some volunteers holding up traffic. We don't need cops showing up in riot gear, threatening everybody.
United will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. No justice, no peace. No racist police. No justice, no peace. No racist police. No justice, no peace. No racist police. No peace. No racist police. No peace. No racist police. No justice. No peace. No racist police. No peace. No racist police.
Part of it is like man, there's so much weird shit out there. You get into the weird stuff.
This little Latina girl was like, so really the only cops that I've seen is that LAPD helicopter, and everything is peaceful. Everything's peaceful. See, when we made those turns where I just showed you and there was just volunteers blocking off the streets, like at the protest I was at 2 weeks ago in Santa Monica, at intersections like that, they had cops in riot gear, so then everyone starts yelling at them, understandably so. And then the cops show up and somebody throws a bottle and the cops, oh, they threw something at us. See, they just let people, everyone's let oh, weird, the First Amendment gets to be exercised. So it's just like, just seeing more and more how all the cops are doing are inciting the violence. Just like what we do internationally, right? We send our military all overseas to these poor countries, and we act, oh, we're just here for, no, our military presence, a foreign military government. Imagine if the Chinese military was on our streets. People would lose their shit. That's what happens when we go to other countries. So all the American empire does on a foreign level and on a domestic level is incite violence because we profit from it. The corner of Glendale and Park Avenue. People are peacefully letting the protests go by. No cops around other than the helicopters. Cops are probably hoping some shit goes down. They can say, oh, you need us. No, we're good. We're good. So that guy, that smoke, that guy's burning sage, which is like cleans the evil energy out. We're right on the corner of Sunset and Park. Again, peacefully protesting. Don't need the cops here. Everybody's cool. This is Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles. This is that Sunset Boulevard. Look at it. Behind those buildings behind me, that's downtown LA. Taylor. Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Defund the police. 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 No justice, no peace. Defund the police.
That comes in, but is it like passive acceptance that you're just supposed to take like just anything anyone says, and then also it comes like, hey, why of course never gonna oppose that. But like there are black capitalists are around, share my skin color, indigenous even in that, do not have to say so like
vegan protein bar. Think thin. These are great. Plant-based protein. Great for energy during a march. Look at these cute dogs. Oh, shit.
In memory, just a few of our thoughtful brethren, Daryl Fields, Valerie Watermore, Jake Smedley, Jared Arnold, Peter Green, Freddie Contreras Jr., Miranda, York, Chuck Wilkinson, Roddy Evers, Shirley Evans, David Lee, Yaya, David Waller, Colin Henson, Daniel Henderson, Clarice Bolt. We must do better. It's our job to take the reins and rebuild the system. We must burn this house to the ground and recreate something better. So as we all rise together, thank you for taking that moment of silence with me.
So I just wanted to let you guys know they stopped the protest in front of the council member of the 13th district. So this is significant. This is what they're talking about, not just protests, but like action. So So that's why it's in front of the 13th district council member's office. So that's why it's like, when I talk about get involved, this council member, so you live in this district, you pressure this council member, and this council member goes, oh shit, you vote this council member out if they haven't defunded the police. See, most council members are banking on the fact that you don't know who they are and they only need a handful of people to vote for them. So get to know who your city council member is, and if they ain't on the side of us, get them the fuck out. Because I know we're all like, protests are great and everything, but we need action. This isn't action. What they just did is they let everybody in this area know this is their council member. So
also experienced getting hit in the forehead by the police there over time.
Fuck the police!
So I want to say, fuck the police, and this is our building.
I gotta tie my shoe. Chanting house keys, not handcuffs. Now they're chanting Mayor Garcetti must go. guy's Irish. So now they're taping the signs to the wall of the council member, Mitch O'Farrell. So that is a guy that sounds like he's of Irish descent, like me. So I'm gonna tape my sign on his wall.
House keys, not hands.
Yeah, yo, fuck God said. Yeah.
Bad little bathroom, big little bathroom. And they do this shit right outside of me.
Hey, fuck God said. Hey, fuck God said. Hey, fuck God said. Yo, hey, fuck God said. Hey, fuck God said. Yo, fuck God said. Hey, fuck God said.
And they have his contract apartment. They lock me in so bad. For like weeks. They put me in the doctor's office where they
get me from down trying. Get down trying. Get me from down trying. Get me from down trying. Get me from down trying. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Jackie Lacey has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Jackie Lacey has got to go. Ho, ho. Jackie Lacey has got to go. Hey, hey. Man Garcetti has got to go. Ho, ho. Man Garcetti has got to go.
I got you. I'll take the tape. You still need my help, baby?
Yo,
Oh, no, I got it.
He had the drums over there. Fuck, hey, fuck Garcetti. He said fuck Garcetti. Yo, fuck Garcetti. We say fuck Garcetti. Hey, ho, ho. Hey, hey. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Michael Moore has got to go. Hey, yo, I want to tell y'all something about Michael Moore. Michael Moore celebrated opening up a prison during Black History Month in 2020. Michael Moore celebrated opening up a prison during Black History Month in 2020. That's what Michael Moore did. That's what Michael Moore did. Yeah. Let me tell you about Mayor Garcetti.
Drew, can I grab one of these bars? Thanks, brother.
Josh get shot like 4 times in one day. That was fucking crazy.
So this is part of what like an effective protest is. So it brought a bunch of people, probably from this part of LA, in front of their city council members. So now a bunch of people that live in this neighborhood go, oh shit, there's my city council member's office. Most people, do you know who your city council member is? Find out. That's why this is a very effective protest, to bring everybody in front of their city council member and say, oh, you, I'm gonna talk to you. I wanna know what you're doing. And if not, vote him out. This has to be like a grassroots. We're not gonna get any help. Bernie and the squad and the do nothing Democrats fucking sit around and do nothing. The Republicans are the cop with their knee on the neck. The Democrats are the cops standing around watching it happen. So that's why this is effective, because like I say, protests are great, social media posts are great, but this is like how we're gonna get action, how we're gonna get changes made.
Cop comes from my left.
Go,
So there's all the protests behind me. We're back at Echo Park. Basically, it started right over there, and then we walked all the way around this park and up here, and then we stopped at that council members, which is a couple blocks that way, and now everybody's coming back to where Echo Park is. You can see where the protest was. So it was amazing. Several thousand people. And I think the most effective things were talking about voting out Jackie Lacey and then stopping in front of the city council members. That was a really effective, because you know, a lot of people, maybe this is their first protest, they're just getting involved. They're like, everyone's like, what do we actually do? And this is how it's going to take. You pressure your city council member, you pressure your mayor, you pressure your state people, you pressure your governor, you pressure your senators, you pressure your congress people, you pressure everybody. And you do things like vote with your dollars. I talk about don't support businesses that aren't down with it. Don't support the big corporations. Like, I know it's hard in all of our lives, but like, think about, especially now, think about where your money's going. Think about where your personal money is going. Think about where your tax dollars are going. And why are we, like, Los Angeles spends 54% of its budget on the militarized police. So find out what the percentage of budget is in your town, in your state. Because I bet you your city spends way more money on cops than it does on schools and social programs and all that stuff. So cops are like, oh, it's not fair, we're overwhelmed. Well, you shouldn't be getting all this money. The amount of money it costs to arm one cop with riot gear can give 55 frontline healthcare workers PPE. So the amount of one riot gear for cop gives 55, and we could break that number down any number of ways. Anybody working out who's watching the show who's a teacher, I've heard teachers have to buy their own school supplies. So teachers have to buy their own. It'd be great if cops had to buy their own gear. So that's what defund the police is about. When you have any friends or family like, defund the police, spell it out for them. Spell out what it means. It means we're spending way too much money on the police, and we're not spending enough money on education, on homeless. Like, Los Angeles has a horrible homeless problem. Rather than buying a cop, cops get $100,000 a year. What do teachers in LA Unified School District? LA Unified School District has its own police department. So this is, you see the for-profit motive, the for-profit prisons, you see how this works? So however your city's working, follow the money. What do I say when you watch my show? I say, follow the money, connect the dots. So the way we need wars for profit, we need enemies to go drone strike or war with. It's the same thing on a domestic level. Oh, we need bad guys to more prisons, more cops. It's that same bullshit logic. It's the same logic. And everyone's had enough. So this is great ways to get involved. My battery's dying. My second battery's dying. So I've been with you for a little over 2 hours, hour and a half today. So I'll go live tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Thank you so much. You're all making Gotham great again. I know I can't really answer the super chats in these when I'm out here in the streets, but thanks for watching the show. Like, share, and subscribe. And there's a lot of great ways to support what we're doing. And I'm going to be donating, some money to Black Lives Matter from the super chats and organizations that are doing grassroots on a political level. So donate a little bit of money to those organizations. Thank you so much. Shave your knuckles for justice.